whatever I say here, I'm going to get pelters, but I think it's worth talking about because a lot of people online are talking about it, so I should respond to it. Max Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton, what happened at the Hungarian Grand Prix? Nowhere near as dramatic as what happened 12 months ago, thankfully, but there was a fairly controversial incident between the two, and interestingly, it was investigated after the race by the stewards, which, to be honest, I'm not sure why this needed investigating after the race. Could they have not just done it in the Grand Prix itself? Don't understand that one personally, unless the stewards really wanted to hear from both Hamilton and Verstappen on this incident, but they didn't even hear from Hamilton anyway. He didn't turn up. He waived his right to actually attend the hearing. Verstappen was there though, defending himself, and in the end there was no further action. There was no penalty for either driver during this incident. What was this incident, and was this the right decision by the stewards? Well, I'm going to do my best to try and dissect what has happened here, guys. So, this incident occurred on lap 29 of 70 of the Hungarian Grand Prix on Sunday. Max Verstappen and Sir Lewis Hamilton were fighting over 11th place. Hamilton and Verstappen were both hurtling towards turn 4, the fast left-hander at the top of the hill to start the second sector of the lap. Hamilton was ahead and he went for the normal racing line, which is towards the right-hand side of the track. Verstappen, though, was catching at a rate of knots and he was quicker than Hamilton. Therefore, he moved to the left to try and overtake into this corner. You can pass into this corner. It definitely takes a big pair of minerals to do it, but it is an overtaking opportunity if you are enough alongside. But it's very difficult. Verstappen's front wing was only just ahead of Hamilton's rear left tyre, so he was not really fully alongside at all. But still, there was a gap there. He is entitled to make the move if he so chooses. But by the FIA's own definition about who wins the right to the corner, as it were, that's usually the phrase they use these days, I don't believe Verstappen was alongside far enough for that. However, I think the reason why Verstappen got away with this one, for lack of a better term, was the fact that Hamilton steered out of the corner. He saw an incident potentially happening and he took avoiding action going off the track. And in fact, Verstappen directly commented on this as well, saying that he was actually disappointed that he had to go to the stewards. They should have sorted this out in the race, which I agree with. I don't know why they had to wait until after the race for this. This was only 29 laps into the race. We had like an hour of the Grand Prix still to go. So why the stewards were like, nah, we need to wait until the end of the race for this one, I don't understand that one personally. But Verstappen described the incident as, quote, I just set my nose next to him, he gets scared and goes off the track. And then he laughed apparently in the interview. Which, I can see why he'd say that from his point of view. Hamilton hasn't really commented on this incident. Like I said, he didn't even turn up to the hearing. He basically was just very downcast during his interview after the race in general. And over what Hamilton said during this weekend, very difficult listening. If you're even a passive fan of Hamilton, hearing him say these things about himself was very downtrodden. But should Verstappen have got a penalty for this? Well, at the end of the day, from Verstappen's point of view, he's gone for a gap, he's gone for a move, and Hamilton didn't close the door. Had Hamilton closed the door, Verstappen probably would have spun off the track. He would have lost control of his car going through that corner. And I think in that instance, and guys, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I think in that instance, because of that, Hamilton might not have even got a penalty for it, because Hamilton has won the right to the corner effectively and he's taken it. If Verstappen has tried to get in there when he doesn't have the right to take the corner and he actually spins out because of it, that's kind of a him problem at that point. But Hamilton didn't want to have a crash. He backed out of it. He ran wide off the track. And when you run off the track like that, unfortunately, you kind of lose all your rights, really, when it comes to getting a penalty for the opponent. Hamilton, I don't think, even said anything on the radio about it. I don't think he's commented on this incident at all in any form, whether that's privately with the stewards or publicly in the media. I don't think he said anything about it. So, yeah, an interesting incident, but for me, I understand why the stewards have done what they've done, but I also understand why Hamilton fans will be annoyed with this one. But to be honest with you, I think you really need to be annoyed with your man, because effectively, he's not really used all of his racing brain there to try and make things difficult for Verstappen. He basically left the door a little bit ajar, and as soon as he saw Verstappen basically peek his head round the corner, he just opened it up for him and said, yeah, you go in, mate, go on, go past. That's how I think the stewards have seen it as well. Perhaps if Hamilton was there in the actual stewards room and debated this and really argued for it, maybe he could have got Verstappen a penalty, but it wouldn't have really changed his race anyway. He still would have finished outside the points. Hamilton probably just wanted it to be done and over and just move on, get onto the summer break, so I understand why he didn't bother as well. But guys, let me know what you think in the comments below. Should Verstappen have got a penalty? Should Hamilton have been harder with him defending? I think he should have been personally, but the way Hamilton's been and the mentality he's had this weekend, unfortunately, I just don't think he had the fight to do it. I just feel like he just didn't want to do it. Personally, just had an absolute shocker of a weekend, and that really does reflect in what he's been saying. But yeah, like, share, comment, subscribe, guys. Get your opinions on this in the comments below. And well, yeah, we'll see you soon for much more content on the world of Formula One, just like this.